Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Tell a friend, come on in. All black everything, all black everything. Thinkers Flight, Big Dreams, Mini Streams. We back at it. The Four Agreements. I do not own the rights to this music. Peace to the African inspiration of that Mama Africa chill out music. We back with it still. Loving it. Like it, share, subscribe, put your thumbs up like you're hitchhiking. Let's get the channel growing. We appreciate your love and support. Sharing this information in spurts. That's how we do it. Down Miguel Ruiz, the Four Agreements, very important and powerful information. We just dropping and sharing. Do your own diligence though. Don't take my word for that. Just sharing. We back with third chapter, I think. Fourth chapter. Don't make any don't make assumptions. And we're gonna continue right where we left off. It says we create a lot of emotional poison just by making assumptions and taking it personally. Because usually we start gossiping about our assumptions. Gossip, gossip, gossip. That's what the world runs off. Gossip. You heard this, you heard that, he say, she say. Don't participate in it. Remember, gossiping is the way we communicate to each other in the dream of hell and transfer poison to one another. Don't be transferring the poison. Because we are afraid to ask for clarification. Just ask the question, man. We make assumptions and believe we are right about the assumptions. Then we defend our assumptions by try to make someone else wrong. It is always better to ask questions than to make an assumption because assumptions set us up for suffering. The big mitote in the human mind creates a lot of chaos, which causes us to misinterpret everything and misunderstand everything. We only see what we want to see and hear what we want to hear. We don't perceive things the way they are. We have the habit of dreaming with no basis in reality. We literally dream things up in our imaginations. Because we don't understand something, we make an assumption about the meaning. And we then, when the truth comes out, the bubble of our dream pops and we find out it was not what we thought it was at all. An example, you are walking in the middle of the mall and you see a person you like. That person turns to you and smiles and then walks away. You can make a lot of assumptions
Bluetooth pairing.
just because of this
Bluetooth
one
connected.
experience. With these assumptions, you can create a whole fantasy and you really want to believe this fantasy and make it real. A whole dream begins to form just from your assumption. And you can believe, oh, this person really likes me. In your mind, a whole relationship begins from that. Maybe you even got married in this fantasy land, but the fantasy is in your mind and in your personal dream. Making assumptions in our relationships is really asking for problems. Often we make the assumption that our partners know what we think and that we don't have to say what we want. Terrible mistake. We assume that they are going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do what we assume they should do, we feel so hurt and say, you should have known. Another example, you decide to get married and you make the assumption that your partner sees marriage the same way as you do. All you gotta do is ask simple questioning sessions. Then you live together and you find out this is not true. This creates a lot of conflict, but you still don't try to clarify your feelings about marriage. The husband comes home from work, and his wife is mad, and the husband doesn't know why. Maybe it's because the wife made an assumption without telling him what she wants. She makes an assumption that he knows her so well that he knows what she wants, as if he can read her mind. You ever been there? She gets so upset because he fails to meet her expectations. Expectations is another thing. Don't expect anything from anyone except yourself. She gets, oh, excuse me, making assumptions in relationships leads to a lot of fights and difficulties and a lot of misunderstandings with people we supposedly love. In any kind of relationship, we can make the assumption that the other knows what we think and we don't have to say what we want. They are going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do what we want, we assume that they should do what we assume they should do, excuse me. We feel hurt and think, how could you do that? You should know. Again, we make the assumption that the other person knows what we want. A whole drama is created because we make this assumption and then put more assumptions on top of it. Mm-mm-mm. It's a cold thing. Dropping information in spurts. The Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz coming back with it, y'all. All black everything, thinkers plight, big dreams, many streams, like you share, subscribe. Thumbs up, like you hitchhiking. Let's go. Peace and love, y'all.